Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Kahala Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Machakwadash. Peace and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Coming with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Machakwadash. Lord's word is an edifying lesson. I haven't been putting up as many lessons as I usually do through the spirit because I've been dealing with some health issues, but I've been feeling a lot better today, especially the water Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So Lord's will, Lord's will, I can continue to push, as we were commanded to do. Lord's will, I'm over the hump with this affliction, thorn in the flesh. But let's get right into it. We have here a lot to speak on. So I'm gonna just go through some articles. Well, matter of fact, first I want to read Matthew 16:3. All right, it says in actually Matthew 16:2. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? And, it reminds me of these various newscasters and people that they'll tell you about the news of the day, and then it comes on the forecast for the news. And all these things are going on. They're reporting on all these things that are happening, but they don't actually understand the sign of the times that we're living in, which is that we're at the time of the end. Okay, the time of the end of this current world setup. All right, there's another scripture that mentions end of your world. That's in Second Ezra 8, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm gonna just look it up from the phone. Second Ezra 6:25. It says, whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation in the end of your world. So this is referring to the elect that will escape and see the Lord's salvation in the end of this world, this current world. All right. And this is what we're waiting upon patiently. So when we see these things going on, we know that this is a sign of the Lord Yahweh Shai's return, man. All right, so this is going into those floods, all right, which some of that came by out here in New York. We didn't get as much of the crazy flooding like other places did, but it says flash flooding fills New York train station tunnel. This was just yesterday. All right, Vermont flood shows U.S. lags in adapting to climate change, which, there's certain catchphrases they use to try. It's all about them furthering their the system, the beast system that they want to set up. They don't actually care about if the climate is changing or not, which we understand that this is a farce by and large, all right? And if the climate does change, that's the Lord's will. Okay, guess what? The Lord flooded the whole earth. That was climate change, man. That was divine climate change from Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Flooded the whole earth, man. The water went above the mountaintops. Okay, so and yeah, the Lord said he would not flood the whole earth to kill all life again, and that is the covenant of the rainbow, which you sodomites have flipped that upside down. But he didn't say that he wouldn't flood parts of the earth anymore. He could still use the water as judgment. He just will not flood the entire earth, because this time around the second death is going to be with the missiles. That fire is going to come. All right, so it says here, yeah, floodwaters responsible for Vermont destruction, now flowing south into Connecticut. Vermont storms swept away my restaurant and flooded my golf course, which in Vermont, to my knowledge, is mostly Edomites. Unless I'm sure that Jake is everywhere, so there's going to be Jakes in there, but that's mostly Edomite territory. When you get into a lot of those northeastern states, it's a lot of Edomites, devils. They go over there to escape the bigger cities, where Jake will be, like New York City primarily. You got Philly, you got other places, right? Yep. Look at this guy, Governor Phil Scott. So devil, it says, the roads around my house were completely impassable this morning. Grateful for the vast snowmobile trail network. So they gotta go through the back roads just to get around. All right. So more things like this is going to happen, which is judgment. Now we're going to go on to the next one. It says here, clouds of mysterious gnat-like insects swarming across NYC. I believe they were called aphids. If I'm not mistaken, that was what they were identified as. But they always gonna mention the biblical plagues, man, because hey, even these fools that don't have no sense, they understand that we're in a time of the end. But it says clouds of mysterious gnat-like insects swarming across NYC. That was not a cloud of ash from the Canadian wildfires that you walked through. It says, no, you are not bugging out. A swarm of insects has seemingly taken over the city. Complaints started Wednesday evening of clouds of small gnat-like insects. By Thursday, the insects were a hotter topic than the smoke from the Canadian wildfire. So the wildfire smoke, which you can see in these videos, is pretty hazy still. That was overshadowed by how many gnats there were. They said literally can't even open your mouth when walking. That's how bad it is. And this is hit Brooklyn. I'm not sure about the Bronx. I don't think y'all can hear the audio, but those are clouds of bugs. You see the people are covering their mouths. Yeah, man. It's going down. The insects or bugs appeared around much of Manhattan and Brooklyn. And the Lord is just throwing them little jabs out. He's just throwing them little jabs out at first. But the haymakers are coming. All right. Those hooks, those right hands that cross is coming, man. So this is all leading up to it, though. But it says, by many accounts, the bugs appear green, although they are hard to see with the naked eye. Some even went so far to compare the bugs to the biblical plagues. Clouds of green gnats are taking over NYC. Here's what it looks like in Brooklyn now. Let's see. As you can see, there's the bugs everywhere. You can't escape it. So the Lord is going to use these. Actually, let's grab that in Wisdom of Solomon. Let's grab that in Wisdom of Solomon. I believe it's the 5th chapter. Wisdom of Solomon 5. Yep. 5 and 20. It says, his severe wrath shall he sharpen for a sword, and the world, this is including all of the creatures, all of the animals. And another translation, it says the universe, even the stars of heaven, the sun, the moon, everything that the Lord created is going to be against Esau, man. It says, and the world shall fight with him against the unwise, which is Esau. Esau proclaimed himself to be wise, but he's really a fool. He's not all he's cracked up to be, even though he's been exalted to this position as being some top intellect, top, the intelligence quotient and all that bullshit. He is really not wise, man, because if he was wise, he wouldn't be destroying the Lord's creation that he has to live on, But that was it on that. So let's go back to there are many different kinds of aphids. Most don't fly, but experts say when there's enough of them, something interesting happens. Check this out. It says their numbers reach a certain threshold, and the newest to be hatched develop wings. Woo! So they can fly away because they are too crowded. Wow. So the Lord created this particular bug that when it gets to a certain amount of them, they evolve to have wings. Come on, man. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is truly magnificent, man. Our power is deserving of all praise, man. Continuous praise, infinite praise. I believe that's why I was reading in Genesis, it called him the Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. In the Hebrew, it was Ilayawan, Quanah, Shemayim, Wa'aratazah, which is the Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. And that is a title that, hey, none of these heathens, their power, their so-called gods cannot claim that title. Only our power can. And his name is Yahweh. And his son's name is Yahweh Shai. So it says, so they use trees as host plants, and this allows them to expand to different trees. Gingloff said. Yeah, they're saying it's no big deal now. Look at this, Jake. I'm trying to get to that. I'm trying to see this other double. Well, you know, that's pretty much it on that. You get the point. And there's just a taste of those plays. So let's grab 2nd Ezra 15. All right. Because this is what's coming. 2nd Ezra 15. And we can start with 8. Let's start with 7. Therefore, saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Profane means to be outside the temple. All right. Which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. You see, so that's the righteous, the elect, that's crying. And hey, man, some of us brothers have been in this truth for a certain number of years. You know, it's not a long time, but it is a set amount of time that the Lord has had us here. Some brothers 4, 5, 6 years. Obviously, you know, elders and apostles for decades. And to be preaching about these things, you know, and I could say when I first started preaching, which was maybe like 2017, you know, I was hearing about the truth from the year before, but then 2017, you know, started coming around the camp. But, you know, it wasn't as much happening as it is now. So now for us to witness these things and see these people living these wicked ass lives, but now prophecy is going to stop all their plans. You know, they have all these things lined up and what they intend to do. And, oh, well, my 2030 plan is this, and my 2040 plan, you know, I'm going to set my children up in college and this and that. And just to see the Lord disrupt their plans. And now everybody's going to have to be in awe of our power and to fear him. You know, the fear and the dread of him is going to be magnified in the earth, and his name is going to be magnified. And his fear, you know, is going to be spreading amongst the people. That's a great thing to see, man. And that's how you know the souls of the just complain continually. The righteous blood crieth unto me, just like Abel, you know. After Cain slew Abel, Abel went into the spirit realm and he cried out unto the Lord about what had happened to him. Why? Because there was a murderer on the loose. And this murderer, which was Cain back then and is now Esau Edom, is this the same spirit coming back, you know, because the Cainites were eliminated during the flood, but the Lord brought Cain back through the loins of Isaac, man. And he had his sons Jacob and Esau. And that was the separation of the righteous versus the wicked once again. And that's why when people observe how things happen with Jacob and how Jacob supplanted and got the blessing, a lot of Christians say, well, that wasn't right and da-da-da, you know, but at the end of the day, you don't understand that Cain murdered Abel in their past life. So when they came back as Esau and Jacob, okay, it's only right that the Lord, you know, the Lord set it up how Jacob, you know, got the birthright and the blessing. And it wasn't going to be fair. Was it fair when Cain murdered Abel, his brother? Of course not. So it ain't going to be fair when the Lord puts us on the level, man, when he takes your kingdom out. All right. In righteousness, of course, you know, because it is fair. But according to how they look at it, they said, well, it wasn't fair how Jacob got it. But really it was, because that was something that was an ancient drama that played out in that generation. And now it's playing out once again because so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are being pitted against the so-called white man. All right. This is what the Lord wants, the righteous versus the wicked. You know, and Sirach mentions that. You know, good is set against evil. All right. So this is what it's all coming down to, boiling down to. It says, and therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. All right, because we have had our blood spilled here in America, Babylon the Great, and abroad for far too long, man. You know, we have paid for our sins. You know, we have served our sentence. And now is the time for retribution. Okay, and this is what we're seeing. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. You see, so his people being led as a flock to the slaughter is talking about Israel, all right, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And this is what they're setting it up for us to be slaughtered right now. And actually, it's already happening because they're jabbing you up. They're putting poison in the food. All right, that's how we know the Lord. Once I heard that, now they said that you can't even eat chicken and turkey. That's the most defiled foods now. You know, with whatever the hell Gil Bates got going on. You know, that's how you know. You know, Jake loves some chicken, man. So that's like, you know, he sort of crossed the line. He's a habitual line stepper, but that's like a line that's like, man, what can we eat now? You know, even the vegetables are defiled, the food is defiled, the fruits are defiled. You know how hard it is to find some fruit with an actual seed in it? It's damn near impossible, man. And if you do find them, you know, take advantage and buy as much as you can, because they're gonna, you know, it's gonna be out of stock soon. You know, I had found seeded grapes, and eventually they just disappeared off the store shelf. Now I can scarcely find them. You know, you got to go to the hood spot. You got to go to the sea town in the hood, or you got to go to you know, the Elamite grocery stores be having certain shit too that other places don't have. But again, it says here, but I will bring them with a mighty hand, and that's Yahushua, our Lord, coming to save us, man. All right. And this is our belief. You see, the scripture says that Abraham believed and it was counted unto him as righteousness. And this is what we're praying and hoping to have, that belief that the Lord instilled in us, for that to count unto us as righteousness, because we know that our righteousness is likened unto filthy rags. You know, we can't sit here and say, well, oh, look at how I'm keeping the laws, because, you know, we failed at that as a nation. You know, it's too late in the game. You know, aside from the fact, of course, that the Lord Yahushua sacrifice himself, and he is the greatest sacrifice, and that we have to have trust and faith in him. Just the sheer fact that we're this far into captivity and the so-called white man has got this high above us, it shows how far off we are, man, how far we came, you know, how much we have drifted off from the Lord. So now, having learned this truth, we got to come back and be contrite and humble about it, man. You see? So yeah, let's finish that verse. It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. You see, so hey, that's what's happening. That's what we see happening: floods, insects. Oh, actually, the one that was even crazier than the gnats was the crickets. I think it was crickets or something like that, out in one of those like country states in the interior of the United States. I don't remember exactly which. Might have been Nevada, which, hey, you got Sin City in Nevada, so it only makes sense. All right, but this is what's going to happen, and it's only going to increase, man. So may Yahweh Shem Yahushua continue to guide us and protect us through the Holy Spirit, man, that we make the right moves out here and please him, so that we can be preserved from these things that are coming. Okay? So now, Brazil's Cbdc pilot contains code that can freeze or reduce funds, developer claims. Pedro Magalhães, those what I'm saying that right, a blockchain developer who claims to have reverse engineered Brazil's pilot Cbdc, has found code that would allow accounts to be frozen or drained at will, which, who is really surprised about that, you know? I mean, somebody surely who has their head in the sand would be actually surprised at this, but clearly, if you've been paying attention, you understand what the whole Cbdc thing is about. It's about control. It's about complete, and you know, it's about complete dominance of the people, the inhabitants of the earth. And of course, they'll be able to freeze your account. You know, you say something that they don't like, you know, and imagine you got everyday people. They're gonna be walking on eggshells to try to get in with the the mainline talking points of the elites, so that they can keep their balance or whatever. You know, you speak out against an alphabet surgeries or whatever the hell wickedness they have going on, you're liable to get shut down for that. In fact, the brother Bukhar Ahmad put up a lesson about how in London, I believe it is, I think it was in London, that if your child wants to get wants to transform, and you don't want to pay for it, that you can be jailed for not wanting to pay for that, which is, you know, beyond bizarre and filthy and wicked, but yet these are the type of things that's going to be pushed. So if you're not with that, okay, and look what it says: a blockchain developer who claims to have reverse engineered the source code of Brazil's pilot central bank digital currency has discovered functions in the code that would allow a central authority to freeze funds or reduce balances. So while the whole world is talking about Adam 22 getting his woman railed out, all right, which is, they're all Satan. All them guys are Satan, man. All right. All them people are Satanists. All right. The dude, Adam 22, his so-called wife, and it makes sense that shit is probably, they probably got married just for the sheer purpose of this whole psyop to undermine the sanctity of marriage. You see? So, hey, but while all that is happening, look what's really going on. All right. He has since argued, however, that there might be situations that such functions could be beneficial. Yeah, so this is the setup that's coming, and we already understand what it is. It's dealing with the mark of the beast, man. All right. And that mark of the beast is so that this devil can exert his dominance over the earth. And we know when he's just about getting ready to fill his belly, he's going to be struck down. This is Revelation 14:8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And that's following this philosophy, And if you're not with that philosophy, like we just read, Brazil Cbdc, let's believe they all have that code that they can freeze or reduce your funds. Of course, they'll fine you for, social disrupting the social order. They'll fine you because now imagine that's the everyday person. Imagine us. See, this was not built for us, man. This is not our rest. So we should be rejoicing the most out of anybody to see that this is happening, because there is no place for us, let alone you regular jakes out there, which they'll make you feel like you are part of it, but really you ain't. All right. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, which is the NATO and the EU and the systems of it, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, that mark is the charagma, all right, the RFID microchip. It says, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So that's that fiery destruction that's coming for those that bow down to this beast, that bow down to the so-called white man and his demands. Okay, this is when the elect is going to be separated from the rest of the masses. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Because you think you're just getting a simple RFID chip to buy and have some cool up-to-date technology. What you're doing is really bowing down to the system. You're bowing down to the beast in his image. All right? Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahushua. So this is our patience. This is our testing. All right? And then through our testing, Lord's will, we're those men. Through us being tested, we understand that wrath is going to come. And there's going to be victory over the mark for those that can stay faithful. All right? So, hey shalom. Yahweh Hashem Yahshai B'Hashem Chakadash Brakatham. To all the brothers that are tuned in. I'm about to go ahead and close this out. And Lord's will, I can hit y'all with another lesson soon. Lord's will is edifying lesson. Yahweh Hashem Yahshai B'Hashem Chakadash Brakatham. Wa call halal Yahweh B'Hashem Yahshai B'Hashem Chakadash. Again, double honors to the apostle, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom until the next one.